Welcome to Tabletop Gaming Guild. Tabletop Gaming Guild is all about the experiences, memories of playing tabletop games with friends and families can create. Today we're looking at Heat, Pedal to the Metal, designed by Asgard Harding Granrud and Daniel Skjold Peterson, and published by Days of Wonder. Heat is a family weight racing game that's fast and kinetic, that has all sorts of components and interesting modules, but if you're feeling overwhelmed by what you're seeing here, don't worry, because you can play with just the base components and throw in various modules as you're ready for them. Heat plays up to 6 players and has 4 different maps you can start at. You will choose a map, choose a car, and get a starting hand of speed cards. You also get some heat and stress to start the game with. The first couple steps are done simultaneously. So the first thing that's going to happen is you can raise or lower your gear by 1, unless you spend 1 of your heat, which moves your heat from your center of your playmat to the discard pile. In which case you can now increase or decrease your gears by 2. You would then pick a number of cards from your hand equal to your current gear. So in this case, I can pick 3 cards. So in this case, red is first to go and would reveal their hand of cards. So I'm in position 12, so I move 8, so I go up to position 4. If you are the last person to go, or in a 5 or more player game, second to last also gets the benefit of 1 extra space and 1 extra cooldown. Bear in mind this 1 extra space is optional, which can be very important when regarding the speed limits for turns. Step 5 allows you to spend any special symbols on cards or on your current position in your gearbox. If you have cooldown, for each cooldown you have, you can take 1 heat out of your hand and only from your hand and put it back in your engine in the center of your play mat. If you spend heat, which some cards will allow you to, or your gearbox will also allow you to spend heat to get an additional card that comes from the top of your deck, and you draw until you reveal a card that has the speedometer symbol on it, and that is added to your speed, and all other cards are going into your discard. Stress cards, if you play them, also give you that plus. After all movement is completed, you then look and see if you get slipstream. If you end your movement directly behind or beside another player, you get to do 2 extra spaces of movement. Each corner will have a number printed on it, so in this case, first corner has a number of 7. For each number you are above that, you must take a heat from your engine and put it in your discard. If you ever run out of heat from your engine and must spend an additional heat, you gain stress. And then you go down to first gear. In addition to that, because you span out, you actually move back to the first position available prior to the corner that caused you to spin out. Step 8 allows you to discard any number of cards from your hand. However, stress and heat cannot be discarded as indicated by the symbol on the card. If you cannot play enough cards to actually meet your gear, you can play that heat. However, you must play all legal cards. You spin out and do not move. Finally, you draw back up to 7 cards, and the next person starts their movement. The game ends once all players have crossed the finish line after the requisite number of laps. After your first game, you may want to try out alternate maps and modules. I would suggest throwing in the Garage module first. Garage module gives you 2 decks, a basic and an advanced deck that you can throw in to make every car unique. Either randomly deal out 3 upgrades to each player, or have a snake draft. I'm not going to talk about each individual card. There is a very useful breakdown of all the card symbols that you can go over as each symbol is revealed, so you don't have to teach any rules in advance when you're adding this module. But it's worth throwing in because it does add a lot of interesting variety and card effects. The Legends modules allows you to add AI players and is recommended for if you have fewer than 4 players. And it's as simple as flipping a card each turn and either using the bottom number for their color or the top number depending on where they are relative to the corner. The next module to talk about is weather and road condition. If you're also playing with the garage module, you would reveal these conditions before drafting your garage components so you can modify your car to meet the road conditions. Weather alters the starting stress or heat, and road conditions affect corner speeds or have effects on the entire sections of road. Once you've tried out the various modules, you may want to try out Championship mode that incorporates the various modules in a multi-race format. Championships consist of 3 or 4 races depending on the season, allow you to upgrade with each race, and add in sponsorship cards that are basically single-use upgrades. These sponsorship cards are given out at the beginning of the race, but also can be earned throughout the race by doing spectacular feats at specified corners. The final mode is the tournament mode. The only real change in that would be the gear change is not revealed until you reveal and move steps. So people don't necessarily know how many cards you're playing. So that's all the elements of Heat and Heat Advanced play. Overall, it's a fast, kinetic game that's easy to set up. It's easy to teach. You can basically just go over the symbology and on your player board step by step. I never play the game without the garage modules. I like the slight variance in your starting deck. It also gives you a sense of pride in your decision making. It's not purely luck. Actually having made good decisions in that draft can be important. The one drawback, especially for new players, is there is a lot of symbology on the playmat and on the cards. So it is very important that one player at least be very fluent in that symbology. I think the biggest win for this game is it actually feels like a race, which is not always the case for racing games. A lot of racing games can get bogged down by the minutiae and trying to be realistic, and this one keeps it to the number of rules that are necessary to make the game fun and keep it fast. As far as what racing game is my favorite, it's between this or Downforce, which are both amazing games, but they cover different itches. So I would recommend picking up both games. However, if your budget is tight, it's really all about what style you prefer. If you want something fast and furious, go for Heat. If you like the bidding and trying to bluff, go for Downforce. But if you want violence, then you could go the completely different route and do Thunder Road. Thank you again for watching. Please join us again on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and other social medias. And please don't forget to like and subscribe.